coming to today is like we'll be getting started with SQL. So this will be the today's agenda. So we'll just see what is SQL, history of SQL, why SQL is important, what are database, which are the popular databases, and what is MySQL DB. We'll just try to see this, and if time permits, I'll also show you how to install MySQL so that from today we can get started and start querying in the MySQL. Okay, let's get started. Before getting started, I want to ask two questions. So, have you ever ordered something in Amazon? I hope everyone will order something online nowadays. And what is your experience? What are the steps you usually do to order anything in Amazon? Let's make this class interactive, guys. Okay, because it will be if two-way is there, then even you can have some idea like how to answer in interview. So communication skills also in. Okay.
Yeah, we will search for the product and then add to cart and
Okay. Just
then
give me a
submit the order.
minute. Okay. How to order in Amazon? Okay. So the first thing what you do, so you're completely, let me take an example, like you're completely new to Amazon, you're using your app for the first time. So what you do first, you do is install the app. Okay. Install the app. The second, you, as soon as you install the app, what does Amazon ask you to do?
Create a login.
Yep. Amazon asks to log in into the system. So once you log in into the system, as soon as you log in and you are a new user to Amazon, so there is something that Amazon asks you to do. One more thing, one more step. What is that?
Verification.
Yep. Apart from verification, it also asks you to, it will show you a ad of Prime. Anyone using Prime, Amazon Prime?
Yeah.
What is Amazon Prime?
Yeah,
We need to pay yearly.
So it's special kind of subscription where they'll deliver the product, right? You'll make a monthly payment for that service.
Mhm. Yep, exactly. So it's like a premium service provided by Amazon. Like it says, we'll provide you a fast delivery. So you will be the first preference for us as a customer. So if you take Prime membership, and for that they will charge you, right? They will charge you, I think, around 1,500 per year, right, in India per year.
Yes.
Okay. Now imagine you want to buy any iPhone, any phone. Okay, you are confused. So in last class also we saw like iPhone versus Samsung. So a lot of here are the Android fans. So let's take a Samsung phone. You want to buy a Samsung phone. So what will be the first thing you'll be doing once if you want to buy something in Amazon? You'll search it. Okay, you'll be searching something. You'll go to the category called as phones, and there you will filter your item and you say Samsung. Okay. Now you want to buy a Samsung phone. Let's take S20, which is the latest model that has been released from a Samsung. Anyone?
S25.
Yes,
S20.
25.
Anyone using S25? Okay. So let's think like you want to buy S25 phone. Okay. Now, since this is a very new launch, you have seen few videos in your YouTube, but you need to know the real time reviews also. Okay. So you don't know the specification. So suppose if you are not seen any YouTube videos, also you just need to understand what are the specification of this particular phone. So what you'll be doing, you'll be reading the description, right? You'll read the description and try to understand what are the features of the phone. Now, once as soon as you read the description, next thing what you'll be doing, you will be doing what? Checking the reviews. Okay. Have you ever checked reviews before buying any items from the online? Have you seen any reviews, or you'll just blindly buy anything that you see in the Amazon?
We'll check reviews.
Okay. So fine. You check everything. You feel like this is a good product which I need to buy. As soon as you decided to buy, next thing what you are going to do? Add to cart. Okay. Now you have added to cart and you need to buy this, but you are a very new first user and you have not provided your information, right? So as you have add to cart, what it will do, it will direct you to the payment page. Okay. Now in the payment page, what it asks, it asks you to provide your information, right? What all things it asks to provide the information about yourself? Anyone?
Address.
Name, address, phone number, okay? And even it will ask you something, right? Is it a home location? Is it a work location? Or other some kind of information. It also asks this kind of information. And even sometimes it asks you, do you want a open delivery? What is this open delivery?
To have it, to check it and verify the product, it is not damaged.
Yep. So if you're trying earlier, what is to have whenever you try buy any items from the Amazon, just deliver you, and some vendors which are tied up with Amazon, they used to sell some other product. They used to promise something and they used to sell some other product. And what used to happen? You have ordered particularly any Samsung phone, and they used to what they used to refurbish, what they used to add, and they repackage it and they used to sell. To avoid all these kind of things, they have come up with something called the open delivery, where whenever you comes and you can just if you click this option, the delivery guy who has come, he will just open in front of you and check if everything is fine, and then you will receive a OTP. That once that OTP is confirmed, then only it is considered as a delivered to you. Okay, this is what we do. Hello. So as soon as you pulled everything information, then what you do a payment. So for payment, again, it will ask you option, right? It will ask you, do you want to do from EMI, you want to do for UPI, or you want to do as a cash on delivery. So these are the option it will ask you. Okay. So as you select, whenever you select your payment option, you have paid everything, and then what you will going to see. No,
It will redirect to the OTP page.
not OTP page. I would say something as a tracking page.
Yeah.
So have you seen tracking page?
Yes.
Okay. So one more thing I would say, whenever you buy anything and you paid something, it will generate one ID for you, right? Unique
Tracking
ID.
ID.
Yeah. Using this tracking ID, you will be having here. Now, as soon as you order anything, will it get in like 5 minutes, 10 minutes from Amazon? All right. So in this tracking page, whatever it will show you the processing. So what is done, it is processed. Then it will say packaged. Okay. Then it will say your order is ready for shipping. And it will say out for delivery. Then you will get be delivered. Okay. So these are the process they make sure like it deliver, and it takes up to 2 days. Let's consider to do all this process. Okay. So now in this processing also, what will be happening, like as soon as you order, so Amazon doesn't have these products, right? So these products have been tied up with vendors. Okay, vendors, they sell their product in Amazon, and they give a certain kind of commission for the Amazon, so that whenever you click for any particular item you want to buy, it is directed to the vendor. Now vendor is the one who collects that information and sends that to the warehouse. Okay, he sends warehouse of Amazon. As soon as he sends the warehouse to the Amazon, then these things comes into the picture. Then Amazon packs it with their boxes. Then they do shipping. They provide the information, and they are going to send you. So let me go back to the slide. So this is so far what we have done. So we seen that Amazon, whenever you do, you browse the item, add to cart, select your delivery, and you pay the information, and then you proceed, and your order is there. And then what is there? There is a tracking system. So what is it will be dispatching soon, dispatch and in transit. So it will be showing each and every information for you before the item is reached. And there will be something also, they will be giving information like this. Have you seen this? They'll say it has reached particular warehouse. Now it will be reaching the next warehouse in this particular time. And these are the information you are getting. Have you seen this? Have you tracked such kind of things?
Yes.
Okay. So now imagine, so earlier, like before this all e-commerce business, anything has came into the picture. So did you any order anything from the online? Like earlier on 2000, say 10, I used to buy a phone. Huh? In 2010, 2014, before the any e-commerce business come into the picture. You used to go to the shop, right? You used to go to the shop and just do what you used to search. You should take see whatever particular phone you need to want, and you just used to buy it, right? So at that time, you had something you did not have any trust on the on any e-commerce business. Do you agree with me? In the earlier days, any costly product you would you go blindly and order from the Amazon or any Flipkart in 2010, 2012? Anyone?
No.
Yep. So why that is to happen is so you did to give any particular money to the any third party online tools. It's not in on the internet is not safe, right? There's a lot of scams used to happen. Now, see, Amazon has since Amazon has integrated these all things. Okay, you can track any if you have any issues, you can raise the issue, and if you can if the order is not delivered, they will give back the money. So they have promised everything. So how do you think Amazon is doing this? Can they put all this piece of information in a piece of paper and say, okay, this is a guy who has ordered something called as a S25 phone, and let's do what? Okay, we'll process everything as soon as it move to particular location. We'll add that in a piece of paper, and we will just inform. And there is no particular management system. If it is not there, would you ever go and buy from Amazon?
No, we will not buy.
Okay, because you will be not having that confidence, right? You might order something as a Samsung phone and you might get something some other phone. That might be a case, and you don't have any proof to show that. Okay, you say this is they might say this is the order you have ordered and we have delivered. We don't know which phone you have ordered. So now, since they have a tracking system, they know everything. So then you can raise the issue saying that this is the phone which I have ordered, this is the information you are having, you can see in your mobile app, and this is what I have ordered and this is what I have received. Okay, you can track that things. Now, how these all things come into the picture? Okay, these all things come into the picture with help of something called as a digital system called as a database, where they store all the details in an organized way. Okay, instead of writing that into a manual piece of paper, what does Amazon do? They stored every this piece of information in the form of tables or anything in the computer, so that they can quickly find what all the piece of information they require, and any issues or concerns have been raised, they can directly go and resolve those issues. Are you clear till now? Any doubts till now?
No.
What is this, guys? Anyone?
Warehouse.
What we will usually do in the warehouse?
Store the products.
Okay. So we saw that, right? As soon as you order something, vendors send their product to the warehouse, right? Now that piece of item, now you might that vendor might be there in Delhi. Now you have ordered the phone in Bangalore. Now you can't directly parcel that to, right? Because he's not selling by himself; he's sending through Amazon. Now Amazon need to make sure the products have reached the customer in intact and every item is reached in a good way. So what they do, they bring that product and they keep in their warehouses. Now, in their warehouses, again, what happens? There will be a particular section. Now, you imagine if you ordered an iPhone and you order a clothing system, can they bring everything and keep in one particular place and saying, okay, this guy has ordered warehouse phone also, clothing also, and we'll keep everything in one item? Will they able to find this product in an easy way if they do that? No, right? So it will be very difficult to do that. So what they do, they have a warehouse like this, and let's consider one particular warehouse how it does. Now, if you see here, this is a warehouse. So what's happening is, let's take this example and understand what is database, schema, table, and column. Okay. Now, what you can do now, whatever the warehouse you are seeing this, right? The whole warehouse. It's a big place where you are placing your products. Now you can consider this warehouse is equivalent to database. Okay. So database is nothing but a place where you have a collection of all the information, all the data. Okay, now you have collected all this piece of information I have kept. Okay, now is there. Now inside that, these are the particular object, right? These are the particular object which you have organized in your warehouse. In the same way, we will be having this object organized in our database. For that, what we can say, now let's consider this particular thing. Now we are considering this particular one where section. Now what we can say here, so consider this section is for clothing. Okay, this is for clothing, and this is for electronics, and this is for some other products, let's say. Now they have they have partitioned in the such a way that only for if any items they want to go in the clothing brand, they can just go here and fetch that particular piece of item. In the same way, if there is any blueprint or anything where you are partitioning a certain things and you are keeping, then that is called as a schema. So what is schema is, it's a particular blueprint. Now we have a database here. Now is database where it's a whole warehouse. Okay. Inside the warehouse, you again have a schema. Schema is nothing but it's equivalent to one, I would say equivalent to one domain or anything inside your warehouse where you are keeping the information. It's like a blueprint where you are going to keep the information. I would say what I could say is you need to organize a particular product. So use schema and you will keep the information in particular this blueprint. Okay. Now inside this blueprint, again, you need to organize something, right? So now let's consider you have a schema here and you are putting piece of information inside this. Now, in that piece of information can be kept in something called as tables. Okay. Now consider this whole thing has a schema, and inside that we have a table. So inside tables is what you store different type of data. Now, particular for this, inside the electronics only, you need to store information about phones. So you create one particular table. Now you need to create something called as earphones. Okay. Then you have particular piece of table. Okay. Again, you're organizing your data in still good way, and you're putting the piece of information inside these tables where you are organizing your tables, again something called as rows and columns. Okay. So what are these rows? Okay. Rows are nothing but the items which you keep. Okay. The items which are going to place as a horizontal way. You're filling the information about your product. Okay. That things are called, so horizontal data, whatever you're keeping, those are called as rows. Now, for this particular table, you need to understand what kind of data is there in particular row. For that, you will have something called as columns. So columns are nothing but information about your row. Particular row, what are the information you're keeping. For example, you might be having something as a first name, whatever the first name, last name, phone number, address. These are the information about whatever you are storing in a table. Now, what does this column does? It gives the information about that data. So whatever the information you are doing, you are labeling it. Okay. Now that is called as a column. And in whatever the first name, for my name is Sagar, right? For this particular piece of information you are keeping in something called as rows. Now this is called as data or records. Okay. Now the piece of information which you are keeping is called as a information. So when we consider a data warehouse, what I can say, a complete warehouse is considered as a main database where main system stores all the information. Schemas are considered as a warehouse section. This is a section particularly in the warehouse, right? Where you are keeping. Just like different sections we have in Amazon, like clothing, electronics, some other items. In the same way, you can organize your data inside the database, and that is called as a schema. Okay. And inside schema, you have something called, you can say, tables, where you can have different types of data. For example, customer table, where you store all the information of customer. You have a orders table where you're storing all the information of orders, and you have products table where you're storing all the information of products. Now, inside that table, again, there is something called as a column. Column can be named as a labels for these particular tables, where you have different columns like order ID, product name, delivery status, whatever the information. Now, what are the rows? Rows are nothing but each and every data which you store inside the table that is called as a rows. Okay. Now Amazon track your orders using these kind of things. They have a database, they have a schema, they have a tables, they have all this piece of information. So as soon you process everything, they update this piece of information in the particular database, and that is being displayed to you inside your application. Any doubts so far, guys? Any doubts? Oh, yeah, we don't have any doubts, right? Okay, let's go ahead. Now, I would say now let's see. Now, we talked about database, schema, table, columns. That's fine. So, what is SQL then? Okay, let's try to understand what is SQL. Okay, now, anyone who speaks here Japanese? Anyone know Japanese? You can speak Japanese, Korean. Anyone who can speak English here? You can understand English, right?
Yes.
Hindi.
Yes.
Yes.
Anyone knows Tamil, Telugu, Hindi?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, whenever we need to communicate each other, we are making use of particular language, right? Now we are talking to each other. Now I'm delivering this class in English. You can understand that things. Okay. In the same way, if you want to communicate to database, it needs its own language. Now SQL is a one who is a language which is helping to communicate with your database. Okay. Now whenever you order something from Amazon and you have some issues, okay, whenever you have issues, you raise the issue. Okay. Now, particular example, you did not get your delivered order and it is stuck in particular data warehouse. Okay. Now you raise the concern, you go to the customer care and you have raised the concern. Now that particular person says, whenever you go, now Amazon asks you, right, whenever you are trying to call, which way of communication you need. You need English, you need Hindi, you need Tamil, whatever they want based on the region they ask you. Now, that's the way, because they want to communicate with you, right? They need to understand what are your concerns. Okay. Now, if imagine you want to talk in Telugu and that person is connected somewhere from the north and he don't know that Telugu, you will be not able to answer. He will be not able to answer your concerns also. So that's the reason they ask you which language you prefer. Now, suppose you have taken English and you have raised your concern now the particular warehouse, you don't your product is stuck. Now, what they'll say, give us for some time, so we'll check and we'll let you know. Now, that person will go and ask this particular warehouse. They check in their database what is the issue, and they will check if the issue is not mentioned. They'll go and they communicate to the data warehouse. Now, that person they will go and check and they will let you know. Now, what we are doing, there's a piece of communication is happening from one system to another system. In the same way, in SQL, we have something called as queries, where we'll be writing a piece of information, and using these queries, we'll be communicating with a different objects inside the database, that is schema, table, or any other object. Like we'll see more objects when you go ahead, but these are the information we are going to fetch using queries. Any doubts so far, guys? Okay. Query is nothing but it's just a request from SQL to database. You want something. So, for example, you need to find any from this particular having an ID of 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you will write a piece of code inside with the help of English. You will be just using English language. There is no coding involved in SQL. So whatever you will be doing, you will make use of English and you just write a particular query where saying, I need to find a product from this particular table where its ID is 1, 2, 3, 4. It's that straightforward. You just write a piece of information, and that information is you get, and you get to know what are the status or what are the piece of information you require that you get. Okay. Now let's go ahead and understand one more thing. Let me go ahead. Now let's take this example in the next level. So whenever let's with the help of a database, we'll try to understand how this process works. So whenever you go and search a particular product, what Amazon will do, it runs a query. Okay, it runs a search query, select query, or any piece of info, different top. If they need to join multiple tables, they join and they run the select query and they fetch that information and they're going to give you. Okay, that is one type of query called as a select, where whatever they're doing, they're searching it and they're fetching that information and they're giving to you. Now you order something and that piece of information, they need to put that information in their database, right? So for that, they have something called to add any information. To add any information inside the database, we use something called as insert. Okay, insert is a type of query which we say insert this particular data in the tables having these are the values. Okay, we'll see this in a detailed way in the next class. Just I want to give the brief idea for those who don't know this information. Okay, now you order something and you have inserted your data. Now after one day, you see you by mistake you have given a wrong place now has a delivery. Now you want to change that place to a new place. Now what you are doing, you are editing your information and you are changing a piece of information. Now that piece of information, whatever you do, Amazon has to maintain in their database. For that, what they do, again, they can't insert the multiple data. Because if they try to insert the same information again, and they have a two piece of records for one delivery. Now, is it feasible for them to do that? Will they give you two deliveries, one for the another location and another for the location which you have edited and have added as a new? Is it a good practice to do them?
No.
All right. For that, what they will do, they will update this particular record only. So for that, they will use something as a query called as update. Okay. They use something called as a update. Okay. They use that. Now you saw that something and you have ordered Amazon and you suddenly saw something in Flipkart where they have giving better offer than Amazon and you are getting 2 to 3 more thousand discount on top of that product. Now you say what? You cancel this product. I don't want this product. I just want to cancel this. Now to cancel that product again, they can't go and make it as inactive, and they don't want this piece of information. They don't want to deliver to you, so they want to remove this piece of information from their database so that they won't deliver you to that product. So that they use something called as a query called as delete, where they're going to delete that particular record from the databases. Now, whatever these piece of information you are doing, all things have been done. All these things are being done with the help of something called as queries. Okay, it's a way of communicating with your database. Communicating with database. Any doubt so far, guys? Okay. Now, for freshers who don't know anything, let's have some notes. Okay. We have a database. What is database? Anyone who want to answer now? What is database? Anyone who can give a definition for database?
It will be collection of tables.
Yeah. Database is a structured collection of data. Database is nothing but structured collection of data that allows for storage, retrieval, and management. This is very important. Okay. You are doing what? You are doing storing. Then what you are doing? You are retrieving whenever you require, and then you are managing it. Okay. Database. Oh, sorry. You are managing. These are the piece of information you will be doing database. Now, what is schema? Anyone? Anyone who would like to define schema? Schema, sorry guys. Schema is a blueprint. Okay, it's a blueprint or a structuring your database. Structuring of database. Okay, schema is nothing but is a blueprint or structuring of database. How the data is being organized and what kind of table that can be exist in particular database. We make use of schema. Then there is something called as a table where you are having a piece of data or collection of data in form of rows and columns. Okay, it's a similar to the Excel sheet where you store a data. Okay, next up after that you have something called as a columns. Columns are nothing but to define what kind of information need to be stored in a table. Okay, each column has their specific attributes or characters. Okay, that is what you can explain. And then we have a rows. Okay. rows are nothing but a single entry in the table representing a specific piece of information. Okay. Or then what is SQL? Anyone? What is SQL? SQL is a language. Okay. SQL is language to have a piece of communicating between the different databases inside database, I would say. Okay, this is what we can say. And let us go back to the slide. Okay. Now, any doubts so far, guys, before going ahead? Okay. Now let's have a few questions. Okay. Anyone who knows when Facebook was invented? Anyone?
Mark Zuckerberg.
No. I'm not asking who invented. A year when it was invented. Any idea? Okay. Even I do not know that. It was invented in 2004. Anyone who knows when YouTube was invented? Any guess? Random guess?
2012.
Okay. It was invented in 2005. Okay. Anyone who when Twitter was invented? (2006). Now, yeah. Yeah. WhatsApp was invented in 2009. Okay. Now we have phone when it was invented in 2018. Now, when I asked you a particular piece of information when these things was invented, were you able to recall it? No, right? Now, anyone who knows when India won their first World Cup?
1983.
Okay. When was the second World Cup when they won?
2011.
2011. Okay. When they won the first T20 World Cup?
2007.
2007. Now, recently India won another trophy. Anyone? Which trophy is that?
Champions Trophy.
Champions Trophy. Yeah. Now, just imagine, I asked you a piece of information, you were able to answer it very quickly. Why? Why it is that? Now, when I asked you when Facebook was invented, YouTube was invented, were you able to answer that question?
No.
No. So when I asked about a particular piece of information related to cricket, because everyone follows cricket. Now, whatever the piece of information you're having, it is already processed and stored in your brain. You know this. Okay. And whenever you are trying to fetch that piece of information, the brain is directly fetching that and it is coming to your mind. But this piece of information, you can't store everything in your mind. For that purpose, we have something called as why database is required. Now, imagine these Facebook, Twitter, Instagram or LinkedIn, we have where there are billions or millions of users who are using these apps, and each companies, if they want to store this piece of information, how difficult it is them to do. So for that purpose only, the database comes into the picture. Now, why it is happening? So earlier, what we used to do, we used to store the data in a piece of sheet in 1960s. Now, when as the data keep on growing, it was very difficult to manage, and there was an invention of something called as a computers. Now, once computer came into the picture, we came to know that there is something called a storage system, and we can store all of piece of our data in an organized way. So that's the way the SQL came into the picture, and these all companies, they are storing their data if they want to effectively manage their data time to time. That's the reason database come into the picture. You can see that in 2010 the size of data was relatively low. Now as soon as you keep on going, the data is keep on exploding, and we are still in 2005. Now it's a way it's this particular information might go still ahead. Whenever you go a friend, this piece of information will keep on growing, and for each and every company, they need to know and they need to store this particular piece of information. That's the reason database comes into the picture. Now you understood what is database. Now, why companies need database? Database can store very large number of records in effective way, where you can have your website to interfere with the help of database, and you can fetch that particular information whenever required. That is very quick and easy way of finding the information. Now, if you want to add any piece of information inside the database, you can add that. You want to change anything, we can change that. So in that way, and even multiple users can access this data in easy way, and you can share the huge amount of data to the people. So this is a database where we are going to keep our tables and we are having the rows and columns. Okay. Now, what are some of the features of database? Any doubts so far, guys? Okay. Now, some of the good features of databases are scalability, elasticity, security and governance, and database. Now we have seen scalability in cloud. When we are learning what is cloud, we have seen the scalability. Now, I give an example what to know what is scalable? Anyone?
Basing on number of users, increasing the speed of the database.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Anyone? Any other person?
It gets increases depending upon the load it has.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So SQL database need to handle the data effectively, right? Now you need to scale your database whenever required. We have seen that how cloud scales whenever the data is increasing. We just increase our size of a database whenever data is not required. We took an example of Amazon Big Billion Sale, and we saw that whenever particular server need to increase, how we are going to do. So in the same way, if you want to increase your whatever the size you need, you can increase. There are two types of increasing your database. One is vertically, okay. Another is horizontal. Now let's take an example and see how we can. What are these things? Okay. Now imagine you have. We took an example of restaurant, right? When we were discussing what is database, what is data, how data is important to particular business. Now imagine you have a five people as a staff, okay, and suddenly the crowd has increased in your restaurant. Now what you are going to do to manage these people? Anyone? If a piece of if a lot of persons are coming inside your restaurant, you need to manage them. So you do what? Instead of five people, you are going to hire five more people. Now in particular place itself only, you are increasing your number of staff, right? Now that anything that particular server or particular computer, now you are increasing your size. That is what you are vertically increasing in a particular place. So that is called as a vertical scaling. Okay. Now you have in your laptop. We'll take another example. We have a laptop where you have a 512 GB of storage. Now, if you want to increase it to another 1 TB, now what are you going to do that? Anyone? We'll add another 512 GB of SSD or any related to storage information. We are going to add that in that particular laptop, and we are going to increase it, right? Now, suppose take an example. Your laptop supports only max of 2 TB. Now you need to have another 2 TB to do your processing of your work. Now, still can we put this 4 TB inside this particular laptop only and making sure that it will work? Will it work? Anyone? No, right? So in this case, what you do, you'll take another laptop. Okay. Now you are processing 4 TB of data and you need two devices. Now what you're doing, you are horizontally scaling your device. So that is called as a horizontal scaling. Now inside database, you can do this vertical scaling as well as horizontal scaling. And that's the reason database is considered a good way of tool to manage the data. Now, next, let's go to elasticity. What is elasticity? Anyone?
Flexible.
Yep, flexible. So we took an example of Amazon Big Billion Day where we are first it was meant for 1 million piece of people to access, and if 2 million people comes, we can easily increase that particular server for 2 million. As soon as the big billion day is over, we can again make it go back to, if, for example, on particular day, only 10,000 people are accessing this particular piece of website or app, we can again scale it down. So a database has this flexibility to increase whenever required and decrease whenever it is not required. Okay. Now, next is security and governance. Okay. Now you have this option. Have anyone traveled with airline? Okay.
Yes.
What all things usually happen when you are going to travel with airline? What is the process? First, you take a boarding pass. Yeah. Whenever you go inside, you have a particular boarding pass, and only in that particular area or particular route you are supposed to go. Right? You can't wander whenever you need to go. So you have a security things. Whereas the airline staff, what they have more access than you. Right? They can go, whoever want to maintain that piece of airport, they can go to the maintenance area. Can you go as a customer? Can you go inside the maintenance area and see what all things are happening? No, right? So you'll be not having that access to go there. Whereas security guard have more access than this airline staff, where they need to have the security all over the places. In the same way, we can have same thing in the database using something called as RBAC, role-based access control, where you can assign a particular piece of person to have only this particular piece of information is given to them. We can do that. We can encrypt your data. So encrypt is nothing but it's not directly visible or anything. So you can do use of that, and you can go with the compliance of government also, where you have HIPAA or any other government using government has allowed on top of company using database. We can manage these things. Whereas in any Excel sheet or anything, these things won't come into the picture, and is not easy to manage the data. So next thing is something called as any doubt in the security and governance, guys? Before I'm going, please let me know if I'm going too speed. Let me know so that I can reduce my speed, and it will be helpful for you guys.
What was
Yes,
governance
please.
actually?
See, governance is nothing but for any companies, right? We discussed in Snowflake, right? The companies, what they say, you need to follow this piece of governance. There are the set of rules and regulation from given by the government, saying that, for example, in healthcare there is something called as HIPAA. Now, this is being given by US government, saying that you need, whenever you are storing a piece of information about any customers or any of your patients, you need to follow this piece of security or compliances, so that you are not making use of that customer information for unwanted things. Because every information that you take there is very important, and we making use of that information, we can just due to any dark web or any your privacy might be gone, right? So that's the reason what government has done. They for any particular domains, there are a particular set of rules and regulation government has implemented on part of the companies or any companies they are using, right? They have this. So database follow this. Whereas Excel and all, we don't, if you are keeping any piece of information in Excel, can the company follow those compliances? We don't know, right? Anytime that security breach can happen, with help of this government and compliance users, we can follow this. Did you get this? Did you understand what I explained? Is there any doubt in that? Sorry, I don't get you.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Any doubt, guys? Can we move ahead? Okay. Now, next is something called as a data integrity. Okay. Now, to explain this, let me take an example. Here, everyone is from India, right? Anyone from outside India? Okay. To have your piece of unique identity, what is the one item that's been used in India?
Aadhaar
card, right? Now, for each and every person, there is a unique Aadhaar number where you have a information of details about your name, address, date of birth. All these piece of information are there. Now, can one person have a same information where other person is having like same Aadhaar number? No, that's not possible, right? So you're maintaining the integrity between the people. Now, some companies, now what they say, they ask to link your Aadhaar card to what? In bank, if they go, they ask you to link something, another identity called as what? PAN card. Have you seen this in bank? They ask you link your phone number, PAN card, these all things to make there is a consistency in the system. Have you done this?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, right. Now, what you are doing, since you are linking your Aadhaar number to PAN card, now bank mainly tracks your PAN card. Now they have their consistency in the system and make sure accuracy and the consistency of data is maintained. In the same way, inside database there are something called as constraints. Okay, using these constraints, you can maintain the consistency. We will talk about this more when we go ahead, but just understand these are the constraints which we are making use so that there are no duplicate records or any piece of information that is not required. Using these constraints, we can make use of. That's the thing. Even data integrity comes into the picture. Now, using these, we can manage our data in an effective way in the database. That's the reason database is required. Okay. Any doubt, guys? Now, if in any interview, if any freshers are there, if they ask why database is required, can you able to answer these questions? Okay, I hope you can answer this. Now, next is SQL. We have seen, okay, SQL is nothing but it's a structured query language. Okay, it's used to communicate with respect to database, where we perform our statement and try to retrieve the data, add the data, update the data. With the help of SQL, we are going to do it. Now, let's have a small history about SQL. Okay, whenever we are going to learn any particular tool, we need to understand when it gets started and why we have to learn SQL and everything. We'll just have a brief idea about that so that you can understand. Okay. Now, SQL was first developed by IBM in 1970s. Okay. Now, they came up with a SQL, and based on that, they developed a relational software in 1979. Earlier, it was called as SQL. Okay. It is a short form of structured query language. Now, once this was very difficult to pronounce, and that's the reason they convert into a SQL. Okay. Now, you imagine, guys, it's been developed in 1970. Now, what's the year? 2025. Total, how many years this is?
55.
It's been 55 years since SQL has been developed. Have you ever seen any data related jobs without SQL? Will they hire you?
No.
Anyone? Do you think in next 5 years SQL is going to end?
No.
No.
10 years? 15 years? We don't know, right? At this time, what might come, we don't know. How to manage data, there might come something more advanced than SQL. But again, it should be that particular item should be built on top of SQL only. Okay. Now you have a Snowflake. Okay. You have Snowflake, Redshift, Google Query, BigQuery, Synapse. You have Databricks. These all are the new tools which are managing your data. Okay. All these things still we require what? SQL. Without SQL, these tools are not built. So that's the reason SQL is very, very, very important for any data professional who is getting started with their journey as a data engineer or data analyst or data scientist. SQL is one, because with the help of SQL only we are going to do everything. Okay. Now, any doubts so far, guys? Now,
So why
let's
do we
try
not
to.
using like PostgreSQL?
No, PostgreSQL. Yeah, we'll talk about that. Give me a 1 minute. We'll just next slide is that only. Like PostgreSQL is nothing but it's a company which is using SQL only. It's inside that only. Also, you're using SQL. It's a company. Now you have take for example, you have a in iPhone. You have a phone, like you have iPhone, Apple company or Samsung company or Vivo company. We have something else, OnePlus. We have nothing. These are the different companies, right? But what they are doing, they are giving you a phone only. You are making use of that as a calling purpose, playing games or any other piece of information you want to communicate with people. You're doing that. The basic structure is same, like whatever you're doing. But there are different companies. In the same way, Postgres is another company. That's it. Did I answer your question?
Yes, got it, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Now, this is a chart where you are seeing the percentage that's being used to process the data. Okay. Now, Python, I don't remember exact date when it was launched, but first SQL was launched and then Python was launched. After Python, I think around it was 2004 when Hadoop was launched. I don't exactly remember when R was launched. Machine learning and Spark, again, it was launched after Hadoop came to the picture. I think around 2008, Spark was launched, and Scala is another way where you manage the data. Now, since this been launched and it has been 50 years it's been launched, so still we are using SQL, even though these are the advanced technology which has come into the picture, but also company reliance on SQL. Why they are they're relying on SQL is it is very easy to build a database, okay, very effectively, and we can specify. And SQL is the only language which can communicate with the database very easily. Whereas if you need to fetch a piece of information inside a database, you can just write a piece of one line or one query to fetch that piece of information. Whereas in Python, Hadoop, R, or any other languages, you need to get that piece of information. You need to write lines, tens of hundreds of lines of code. Maybe you need to have a packages. Okay, you need to install the packages to connect to again to database. Okay, these are the extra thing that company need to manage. And on top of that, these are the languages which are written in coding, right? There are particular syntax or particular packages or particular lines of code which need to follow before writing a piece of code. Now, whereas in SQL it is very easy. The queries are very easy and readable way. Like you can say something you need to fetch the information, you just write in an English language and you can fetch. People can understand this language. Okay, you can directly communicate with a database mother. And compared to these all things, to fetching the piece of information, SQL is the first. Okay? It's the first and easy tool to fetch the piece of information, and so in a faster way. That's the reason why companies go with a SQL. Okay. Now, since SQL is dominating the data thing domain, we need to learn SQL end to end. Any doubts so far? Shall we move ahead? Okay. Now, inside SQL, there are particularly two types of SQL. Okay. One is relational database. Another is NoSQL database. Okay. Now, what is relational database? Let me give an example. Okay. Now, you all have enrolled for KSR data vision classes, right? Now, you might be learning Snowflake class. Now this is a 5-day free classes. You have enrolled for Snowflake. There might be you're also trying to explore other class. You might be enrolled even Azure specific classes. Now you go inside your website and you give your piece of information and you enroll. Now what we are doing in a back end, we have created all the tables. Okay, we have created our tables, and what we are doing, we are going and putting all the piece of information and we are maintaining, so that whenever we need, we can easily get that piece of information and you can connect with you and solve your queries. Okay. Now this is an example for relation, because we are maintaining relation. You might be having for your students, right? For your students information, we might be having this piece. Now we are having demo classes. Now we can put all this piece of information in this particular table called as a demo classes, where you are enrolled all for this demo classes and try to understand the whatever the tools and technology you need to learn. Now after that, you might go and enroll for the classes, and once you enroll, we maintain another relation where we are seeing enrolled people. Okay. Now you are maintaining this all piece of information. Now at the end of a month or so, if you want to know who are all the people who have enrolled all the batches, you can directly go and see the things in this particular piece of table, and we can find the relationship. Okay, we can also see for particular, for example, for Snowflake who has taken, for example, Azure data engineering who has taken, we can take this. So we're maintaining a relationship between the data, and that time something called as a relational database comes into the picture. And these are the companies who does relational database. Okay, we have MySQL, we have Oracle, we have PostgreSQL, we have SQLite from Microsoft, we have SQL Server and MariaDB. Whereas for NoSQL database, now you have enrolled the class, you are listening to my lecture, and you decide you in a piece of notebook we are going to write everything. Okay, we are not maintaining that. Okay, now you might be writing a SQL. Now now you might be learning some other statistics, and the next page you might write statistics, and the next day you're writing Snowflake. So you're having that piece of information, but you're not maintaining that in a structured way. So what I can say, as a relational database will come into the picture when you have structured data. Okay. Now there might be companies who are generating a unstructured data. Okay, unstructured data in the form of JSON. They might be doing in the form of XML. So the Avro. These all are the unstructured data which they are doing. And based of that, we have another NoSQL database where they are maintaining these kind of data, where we have flexibility to use this data. Okay, there are no predefined format, so we can't directly join. Okay, if as I said, I need to know who has enrolled in demo classes and who has enrolled in paid classes also. I can write a join between these things and I can fetch that piece of information. Where in this, we can't join directly. There is no join required. So that's the reason it's a very fast when compared to this. As you know, right? If you have typed anything and you have put in piece of computer and you need to go and read that information, it's not that quickly. Whereas you can directly open your pages and you can go and access and read those information. That's the reason NoSQL is faster when compared to relational database. But again, it has its own limitations. Now, that's the reason not all companies will directly go to the NoSQL. Most of the companies try to go with a relational, try to maintain the relational database. And when and where it is required, they are going to go with a NoSQL database. Okay. Now, this is the example for structured data and relation. So we have a data structure. We are maintaining our structure informations. We have a tables where user details are there, where we are defining IDs for each of them, and we are having names, and we have skill IDs, everything for this. Okay, for different tables, we maintain our information. Now, if we want to find Santosh, what is the skill of Santosh, he can directly join these two particular piece of table and get what are the skills he has. Okay, that we can do with help of relational database. Whereas in NoSQL, we have information like this. We have even though if you see, you know that. Okay, for ID of one is Anand is there, and these are the skills. Okay, for ID two, Dimple is one, and these are the skills, and these are this graduation. Now, is it easy way to fetch the data from this? And which is the easy way to fetch? Is this the easy way or is this the easy way?
First one.
First one, right? So that's the reason NoSQL comes into the picture whenever when there are certain tools. For example, these are the companies, like these are the database. MongoDB, we have HBase, we have Cassandra. These are the tools. They are specifically have their own kind of syntaxes. We have update, insert, delete in the structural relational database. There are certain kind of syntaxes in the NoSQL also. To handle that, it comes into the picture. But I would say, whereas in relational database, we can have all the piece of data in the structure way, that is tables and rows, where here we have information in the form of key value phrase. Okay, this is a key, and particular for that key, we have a value. This is a key, we have again value. Okay, this is a documented way. Okay, so another we can have a relationship, that is joins we can do in the relational database, but there is no joins. All the data is stored together. Okay, we have flexibility. We can fix. We can do a predefined schemas in the relational, but these are the schema-less. There is no table. There is no schemas. Nothing in this. Okay. So where does the NoSQL come into the picture? Whenever there is an IoT device which is developing, where they are producing a data, where we have something called as a data is coming from social media. These all things comes into the picture. Okay. So when we go for structured database, guys, if you want to have a structured data, everything, what will go? Use relational SQL. When we don't want a structure, we want to maintain in a dynamic way and we have a flexibility, then we go with a NoSQL database. Any doubts so far, guys? Okay. Let me So as we discussed about rows, columns, and data and tables. Okay, this is for those who don't know, this is a table we have, and we have records. Whatever the piece of information you're having, that those are called as records or rows. And what are the fields? Now columns can also be called as a fields, where you are having a piece of metadata information about this particular data, and whatever the information you are calling, we call it as a value. Okay. Now these all things are added in an object called as a table. Okay, it's just example how you store a data in database. Okay. Okay. I guess this is a small introduction we had, where just to get started with SQL, those who don't know SQL and who are new to SQL, we wanted to explain that. So just we got started, and tomorrow we'll go and see what is OLAP, OLTP, and we'll go more ahead and we'll see all those things, what all things, and then we can just start. We'll just install this MySQL and we'll just get started with querying. Okay. Before taking some questions, these I would just like to inform the syllabus who are new to today's class. So what we are going to do is, we have started with SQL now. We have just started with basics. So has this since we have 5 demos now already. This is a third demo class. So we will be having 2 more demo classes. So we can attend that and listen, go through that how we are teaching. So once we do SQL, then we are going to start with Snowflake. Then we are going to do Python. Then we are going to learn Snowpark. Then after that, we are going to do one ETL tool called as Metallion, then ELT tool called as DBT, and then we are going to learn AWS. Okay. Now, what was the duration? It will be 4 to 4.5 months duration and nearly 120 plus hours. Okay. This is the duration we have, and classes timings will be 7 to 8:30 in the morning AM IST in the morning. And project coming to project, we'll be having one project once we complete Snowflake, that is related to healthcare domain, where we'll be building a project from scratch. We'll be building a dimensional model, and we'll be building what you say views and all we'll be building, and you can directly showcase this in your resume. Okay, this project will go up to 6 to 8 hours. Okay, then after we finish our DBT, we'll be having second project where we'll be doing Snowflake on plus DBT. These are the 2 main projects we'll be doing. This will be, again, it will go for 3 to 4 hours, which you can showcase this also in your resume. And this will be mainly on the e-commerce side. Okay, e-com project domain. Okay. Now, after that, if time permits, after AWS also, we'll see one. This is an optional one, I would say. Optional project 3, where we'll see AWS with Snowflake. Okay, we'll do transformation in AWS and we'll try to move that to Snowflake. Okay, this is optional, but we'll try to implement this also. Now, apart from this, there will be assignments for after every classes. Now, since this is a very first class, we just got started. There will be not much assignments, but there will be plenty of assignments. You need to do these all assignments so that we can track those assignments and we can help you with that. Now, apart from my teaching on classes from KSR, there will be a placement cell where they will be helping you out to building a resumes, your LinkedIn profile, your Naukri profile. So what all things, how to add projects in your resumes. So what all, if any doubts are there related to placement, and even like applying jobs and referrals, if required, if any openings are there from KSR side, we will be referring to you, and this will be done with help of placement side. Okay. Apart from this, there is another one tool has been launched by KSR. It still is in a like testing phase. They are looking for investment and do that is a mock interview. Okay, mock interview. You can directly. I'll try to show that demo by tomorrow. So what you can do, you can directly log in. You can view a piece of information, and that particular tool will only be asking you questions, and you can take n number of time whenever you want. You can take, so that you guys are not dependent on us for mock interview. That's the reason we are launching this. It is still in progress. Like by next I guess quarter it will be launched, and for the KSR students it will be free. Okay. So for as a launch, for any KSR student, it will be free. These are the things that KSR people will be helping you out. And related to syllabus, by 10 a.m. The syllabus will be added in the WhatsApp group. So please do join the WhatsApp group where all the piece of information will be added, and even in the website where free courses are there it will be added. Okay. If any doubts, do let me know.
Sagar, in the two projects where we are using the Matillion.
Matillion, we'll see. Matillion, we are not using in the project. Matillion will just give an idea like how Matillion works. We'll do the one data migration from on-prem to cloud, because each and every topics, if we try to implement this, the course will get long. But Matillion will be doing for more, I think 6 to 8 classes, where in that only we'll be doing one mini project. Okay, it's not like these are the full-fledged project I'm saying, which you can directly put into your resume. It will be a mini project where you'll get an idea. Now, in this first domain, e-commerce domain, right? You'll be doing data migration. We'll do using Python. Okay. Now, the same thing. Once we explain Matillion, you can implement that in using Matillion.
Okay.
Did I answer your question?
Yes.
Yeah. Any other doubt, guys?
Yeah, my doubt is, does this requires the course requires to understand DSA also?
No. No, I would not say DSA. Now, it depends. See, now, how total years of experience and which company you are applying. So, if you are applying a very big companies like Microsoft, Amazon, Google, these kind of companies which are like a big product-based company, they will be asking you DSA. Whereas you are applying any like mid-range company like any analytical company like Fractal or Analytic Tradance, these kind of company which are mainly working on the data related work, or any analytical company like Tiger Analytics, they don't ask you any DSA. Okay. It depends the level where you are going, but we are not teaching any DSA. We'll be teaching Python, whichever you require as a Snowflake developer, or whichever you require as a AWS developer, day-to-day activity, whatever you'll be doing, we'll be teaching Python in that. Because if you start teaching again DSA and all, it will be a very big course.
Okay.
And Sahar, like if someone is interested in some certification on Snowflake, with this course, which certification we can take up? Like,
certification, right? You can do Snow Pro Core. There is something called as a Snow Pro Core. You can do that. But there is a one more advanced architect level. So for that, you need to again have a lot of more information. You need to deep dive, because that's the architect level. A lot of things will come into the pricing point of view also. But you can easily take Snow Pro Core, and we'll try to help you with any material you require for taking Snow Pro Core. You can take that also. And apart from this, there are few free certifications that is given by Snowflake. You can take that also. You can just go through their website and do that, and you can add that in your resume. That is will be also a plus point. Whereas in AWS, you can take a AWS Associate Data Engineer certification once you complete our course.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yep. Any doubt, guys?
Hi,
Yeah.
Sagar.
Yep.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes. So may I know what kind of roles the job would be? Like a Snowflake data engineer, or an ETL tester, or automation engineer? It could be many, or
So mainly it will be a data engineer role. Okay. In data engineer, see, it depends on companies to company. They call data engineer someone as a consultant in some company. Okay, they call consultant. They say senior data engineer, or they say software engineer also. So roles differ from company to company. The definition of role differs. But what we have to see is the whatever the role like description for the particular role, what they are asking, they have to see. So once you complete this course, you can you will be having Snowflake with AWS. Any jobs are there, you can apply that. Snowflake with dbt, you can apply. And Snowflake with Matillion, you can apply. Now, since you will be doing Matillion, it's a ETL tool. Okay. It's a ETL tool, and whatever you're doing with Matillion, all other ETL tools remains the same. So what happens is when whichever companies are that are using Snowflake with they say ETL, you can apply for this. Company will not see what tool you have done. You'll see we have whether you know ETL knowledge, your ELT knowledge, or you have what basic foundation knowledge you have. We can apply for all these. Did I answer your question?
Yep.
Yep. Any other question, guys?
If we learn anything like Kafka and Datadog, is that added advantage to us?
Okay. Now to answer this, if you're from India, right? 90%. Sorry?
I'm in USA, sir, present.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Anyway, like I'm let me take plus example of India. 90% of the projects are in not a real time. Okay. Those are batch oriented projects. Outside India, 70%. That is in US are batch oriented. Now, once you understand this all batch oriented projects, everything you have idea, right? If you have time, go and learn Kafka. Again, that's a real time. If you have that, there's an added advantage for sure for anyone. But what I suggest is first you understand this process. So once you are good with batch oriented data, then only you can go and learn this Kafka or real time implementation. If you don't know the foundation and you directly enter into any real time project, you'll go blank and you lose your confidence. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, got it, sir. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what about the Datadog, sir?
Data, Docker. You're saying about Docker?
No, Datadog.
Data dot.
Dog.
Okay. Sorry, I have not heard about this technology. Any idea what it does?
It's like a monitoring tool.
Okay, for monitoring, we have here DBT is there, right? We can do DBT in this particular course, but I have not heard about this. I'll explore on this. Okay, thank you. Yeah, sorry, because I don't know, right? I don't want to give any false information.
Yeah, and that's good. Fine, sir. Yeah.
Yep. Any other
So
question?
real batch means like a real time projects.
Which one? This one? You're talking about this one?
No, you are saying like
This one?
90% not a real batch.
See, batch oriented is nothing but they will have every day for every 1 day they will insert data into database. Okay. Whereas here they might be doing in 5 minutes or 10 minutes or sometimes continuous. Okay. Now, since they are doing continuous, cost will be also more. So that's the reason, and they need to monitor this all the time. And if they don't monitor this, the company has to pay. If anything goes wrong, company has to pay more. That's the reason most of the time company try to implement in the batch oriented, and if it's required and it's very crucial, then only they go near to real time. I would not say every time real time, near to real time. Okay, where they are fetching piece of information and they are putting all this information in the database. Did you get this part?
Yeah, got it, sir.
Yeah. So Datadog also usually it's used by DevOps and SRE in this case, not by data engineers. It's a kind of a security things also. That's the reason it's not covered here. Maybe it's SRE, you heard, right? That word, site reliability engineers. It comes under DevOps
Yes, yes.
only. So those people will use more. So security and compliance, maybe the word called data and dog, you got to know how it will be, right?
Yes.
So it's not part here. So usually it will be used under. So if you need only Datadog, maybe I will try to find it out with my other trainers to make a record, or else maybe only that particular topic you can depend on some content in YouTube, or else like from Udemy. But even I will try to get this.
Before that, we have any Kafka classes, sir?
Kafka, those
I
are
mean,
backside. Now we are not covering here. Like previously, we used to teach a CS, Spark, Scala also. Big data Hadoop completely as a full batch around 4 years back before Azure and AWS come to the picture.
okay.
Now we are purely now most of the companies are utilizing cloud, right? So the Kafka and all we are reducing.
Okay.
Still big data Hadoop teaching just a part of a cloud data engineers, like multi-cloud data engineers, just how it will be work the system. That's it.
All right. Got it, sir. Yeah.
Sagar, if we learn Snowflake with DBT, can we also get into the Snowflake with any other ELT tool? If yes, what are all those available?
See, DBT is a ELT tool, right? Okay, ELT tool, mostly DBT is the one who is using ELT. Okay, other tools I need to check because most of the companies are ETL. Now, DBT was the one who came with the ELT tool. That's the reason they are using DBT. Okay, now if you learn anything with a DBT, right, the process will be same. Now you need to understand ETL and ELT are the process. Okay, ELT and ETL are the process. Okay, you need to understand this process. You take any tool, they are going to follow the process, same process. So if you need to fetch the data, they are doing fetching the data. They need to load, they are doing. So they need to transfer, they are doing. And for any particular tools, they are having their specific kind of transformations. Okay, so you just need to understand how those particular what I say activities or particular things works. Once you understand that, that's it. Inside whatever you're doing, you'll be doing the same thing. But how it works, you need to understand that configuration how it can do. And for to answer your question, if you just learn this too, also there are a lot of openings in the market. Now, why we are adding AWS and Matillion is there, right? Even in future, if in any of the projects you're getting this, again, you don't need to go and learn another course or anything. You'll be learning everything in one course. That's the reason we only KSR is the one who is going to take you 4 to 4.5 months. What are we doing? 4 to 4.5 months. You can directly do these things and we can finish it off in I would say 45 days and say, okay, the course is over. You can go and apply for job. But we don't want that. We want you to learn each and everything, and you don't need to depend on any other course. As soon as you get any work on, suppose now we are teaching Matillion, or tomorrow they can come and ask you to do on Fat It's the same thing, but there's some configuration changes you have to do. That's it. So now you have basic knowledge, and you will be going and just go through some documentation of the particular companies, how to implement that, how to configure, and you are going to do that. That's it. Did I answer your question?
Yeah. So one more thing, like, is there any sample websites or projects that you might suggest for other combinations that we don't cover in the real projects? Example, Snowflake with AWS, if time permits, you said you will cover, right? So
Okay.
can we do it on ourselves if you suggest that?
Yeah, I'll find out that. If I could not do that, I'll document and we'll see. At least 1 hour or one class or two class will do, and I'll just show you the process how to do that. And once you understand that process, and I will give some use cases on top of that, you can build your project.
Okay.
We'll do that. Any other doubt, guys? Okay. If no doubts, shall we meet tomorrow then?
Sir, we want any other like real-time projects. Does we need to pay for that?
See,
So
this
one
is a
more
real-time
real-time
project.
project.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever you're doing this,
I
right?
have a I have a career gap, sir. After my graduation, I have 4 years of gap. Oh,
Okay.
that's why I need
You
one
can
more.
talk to Mahesh.
Guys,
He might
those
guide
are
you in that.
kind of things you can call me and one-on-one, like you can note down my number so we can discuss on that part. So currently you are not
Yeah.
working?
No, sir. I'm studying masters.
Okay, you are in US or in India?
USA, sir.
Yes. So okay, for US we have a separate situation there. Maybe you need to be once you will get OPT.
Yes.
You are marketing by yourself. There is some procedure. Like if you have any vendor, you got it. So we can approach with him. So you can't get job as a fresher, even though it's recording. I am just trying to explain you again. In the US market,
Yes, sir. I know.
they will know how to handle that one, right?
Yes, sir.
So we will discuss that in offline.
Yeah, sure, sir. Yeah,
Okay.
I got it, sir.
Yeah. Fine. Any more questions, guys, related to your career? This is Mahesh. I'm available here. So maybe we can discuss apart from the technical things. We have how to get the opportunity, how to make your resume, and how our new tool works. So all those things we can discuss here as well. And the resume making, LinkedIn, Naukri optimization, and mock interviews. Apart from this, frequently we will conduct a different kind of projects also, like data ops. There is a recently we conducted with so because nowadays multiple people are need to work together. DevOps people and data engineer people also need to work together. So those kind of projects we are provided for free of cost, only around 6 to 7 hours of content. Similar way, these kind of any new topics like Datadog, really using more people. So we will try to include that one. Every time the curriculum, we will recheck it. If any new topics really required, we will try to add those topics additionally. Even Metilin is not part of your previous batch. So recently we got to know some companies, they are looking with the Metilin. So we are adding that. Right.
Sir, I have one query.
Yeah, sure.
I am from mainframe background, so I'm just asking that how much pay we can expect, sir? This.
So it depends on your experience and your current package. And average, I can say your experience into 4 lakhs, we can expect the worst package. And after that, it depends on how many opportunities you are going to be grab. Example, yesterday, one of our student got a job with 36 lakhs package, but his previous package around 18 to 20 only. Why he got 100 more than 100% hike in the sense he cracked 3 offers, which is one Wipro, one with EY, and another some XYZ company. So total 3 offers.
Okay, sir, got it.
It depends. Like there are a couple of people who got a 200, 300% hikes also. They cracked multiple offers.
Yeah, but I have the question like I have already 12 years of IT experience, but with this Snowflake training, I think how many years I can show maximum, like 6 years?
So 6 years also, but even though you can showcase 4 years also, that's fine. It depends on your current package and your expectation. Like if you are expecting more than 40 lakhs, maybe we need to show more experience into the Snowflake.
Yeah,
you are expecting up to 35, 40 lakhs, 3, 4 years in Snowflake is sufficient. Others, you can showcase your previous experience, domain experience.
Yeah, got it, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it depends on like our goal also. Yeah. Any questions, guys?
For 2+ experience, can we expect more?
So it depends on the company sometimes, guys. As example, recently one student, he expected package is 10 lakhs, current package is just a 6, and he asked to 10 lakhs, but they released offer with a 19 lakhs. He got offer with a Shell. Shell have a 6 years experience, guys, should be this much of package for a, it's that to Power BI developer, not even data engineering.
Okay, actually I'm working on data engineer only.
Yeah. So compared to Power BI developer, data engineer should be get more package. Okay. So it depends on the companies, Swarna, which company we are going in those cases with less experience also. And our target should crack a multiple offers, not one single offer. We have to be crack a multiple offers. Okay, example, you got a first offer with just a 20% package. That's fine. Just accept the offer, resign here, and 3 months notice period. You can keep on attending the interviews.
Okay.
Then we can get more opportunities, more package.
Okay. Are you scheduled interviews or you?
I can guide you how to get a more opportunities. I can't say Swarna tomorrow you have a TCS, day after tomorrow Tech Mahindra, right? I can help you for sure. It's not help, it's my responsibility to get a more opportunities frequently. Even I will take the session for why if you are not getting a call. I will verify your resume. I will check it, your Naukri and your LinkedIn, why you are not getting calls. Any corrections required, we will take care about that.
Okay. How many months you will give the support for us?
I got a call around 2 minutes back. She was our 22 batch student. Okay, 2022. She got a job at that time. Now she lost the job due to some personal issues. Now she want to again try. And I asked her, share your resume. If corrections required, I will do that.
Okay.
It's not like just we are done once or 1 month, 2 months or not like that. So it depends on situation. Even if you call me after 3 years or 4 years also, we will try to do from our side. Because it won't cost me. Like I just checked your resume and your Naukri. Hardly it may be spent for me 3 to 400 rupees for my mentors if we need to do the resume separately by doing ATS score and that's it. I can able to do that.
Okay, thank you.
Just for clarification, so how you got to know about KSR here?
Instagram.
Instagram, maybe.
Google search.
But here I can say most of the people, maybe they got to know about their friends or relatives.
Yes.
Here mostly, like here 25 people are there except me and Sagar. There are 23. I can proudly say here more than 15 people got to know about KSR only with their friends or relatives.
Yes, sir.
Not by social media.
Why that way, sir?
Yeah, so all those friends, why they referred KSR, they have some trust on us.
Right.
Yeah. Maybe some old students also is there, maybe Power BI people. Maybe if I remember any students here. Anyone there from old batch people here? Any Power BI or data engineer people already? I heard that current name looks like. Okay. That's fine. You can ask me if any questions, guys.
Yeah, I have one question.
Yeah, Krishna.
I have experience, but not in this domain. Like I have experience in digital marketing. So I'm going for the Snowflake. So let me know how, like, can we add as like experience in the Snowflake for that? Like, how can I go for the job?
Sure. So you are working in a company only, right? Like not as a freelancer. You are getting salary from your organization every month, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's fine. Then we can showcase. Like example, your client some XYZ. Even they need some data analyst and data analyst, right?
Right.
We can showcase that roles and responsibilities. If possible, internally, any opportunity to work with them, even though they are officially not changing, but if you have any chance, you can try to work with them. You try to understand how they're functioning internally. It will help you to give an interview in a properly in a real time.
I mean, I didn't get properly. I mean,
yeah, I will tell you my story. I worked in a pharma company initial days. My background also it's a biotechnology. Later, I learned SAP. Okay. So even in fact, SAP they will use in their pharma company. So if anyone with those kind of background, they can understand easily. They will use SAP as a software for their ERP system. So once I completed my course, what I did, I will try to understand what kind of people are working in the company for SAP. I approached them with a Skype or Teams at that time. So I will try to got some connection. I will understand how they are performing internally. This helps me to crack my interview by saying 3 years I'm an SAP consultant in that company.
Okay. But the designation they will give for the digital
doesn't
market
matter. Matter.
Okay. Sure.
There are a lot many people's designation and their actual work is mostly different.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't matter. You don't need to be manipulated, you don't need to tamper, you don't need to take fake experience and all. You just focus on the technically well with the Snowflake. So you have to be learn, you are equal to a 3-4 years experience guy, how much knowledge is going to be. It's our promise to deliver that much of knowledge and your responsibility to learn that way.
Yeah, sure.
Other things we will take care.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Yeah.
Can I get more details in project? Means how AWS, you're saying that AWS with Snowflake, you are doing one project. Means AWS means we are using Redshift or any.
No, what we'll be doing is we'll be doing transformation in AWS, then keeping the data in the Snowflake. So it's like AWS with Redshift. Since we are using Snowflake, we don't need to use Redshift.
Okay, S3 bucket or any. I want to know the which one you are using first transferring the data, or AWS S3 or any other.
No, data S3 bucket is used to store a data. Okay, we'll store our data, and to fetch that data and do transformation, we can use any transformation tool in the AWS. We can use either Glue, EMR, or we can use Lambda. Okay. Now, once we do our transformation, everything, we need to store that in a data warehouse, right? So for that, we'll be using Snowflake.
Okay. Can you clarify me the snow park? You will explain total,
Yeah.
or only some queries you are including? Means Spice Park or Snowflake, Snow Park is similar to them. Both are similar.
Yep.
Some slight difference in queries.
Yep.
So how only processing the data you will explain, or any Azure? We take the Azure.
No, Azure. See, Azure to write any PySpark code in Azure, you'll be using Databricks. You'll not use Snowpark. Okay.
Yeah,
now
we
what?
can transfer the data from Snowflake
Yep.
to
Yep.
Azure.
Yep. We can do that, but the most of the companies, if you are going to do with Azure, they are going to use Databricks. They won't come and use Snowpark. Okay. Now, what Snowpark will do is we'll learn Snowpark end to end, where we'll be doing all the data frames, whatever we'll be doing in Databricks, right? We'll be doing same things. 90 to 95%, all the concepts, syntax, everything will be same. Whereas in Databricks or Spark, you'll be building a Spark session. On top of that, you'll be writing a code. Where here you'll be building a Snowpark session. Just the entry point will be different. And in Spark and all, those are the distributed system. So you have to take care of backend everything. Whereas in Snowpark, it is a very easy. It will directly, whatever the piece of code you'll write, it will convert backend into a SQL, and then it will be executing. So you no need to worry more about the backend things, how it works. You just need to know how need to do transformation, how need to do everything in the PySpark thing in the Snowpark, and we'll be teaching you that.
Okay. You will explain the functions, how to create the functions, and
we'll be doing that.
Triggers.
Triggers are not there in Snowpark. It comes in SQL. In SQL, we have procedures, functions, and triggers. So we'll be explaining you that.
I'm asking it in a Snowflake. I need to create the functions. I'm trying to create in Snowflake. Actually, the code is in Python. So I want to create the code to create that. I need to what I need to say, change the code into function. Actually, I need to call that function.
So for that, you need to first define your user-defined function. Once you define that user-defined function, then you need to call that in the Snowpark. So we'll be doing that in our class.
Okay. Okay. Can I, after completion of this course, can I write the exam?
Yeah, you can. After completing our Snowflake course itself, you can start. For Snowflake core, the Snowpark and all, they won't ask more questions. There will be basic questions, whether you know Snowflake or not. There will be one more question, one more certification like Snowpark Advanced, where there you need a lot of more information, because that's the architect level certification. You can easily write a Snowpark core certification.
I am asking about the advanced level exam.
That's what, for advanced level, you need to learn few more documentation. You need to learn bit more in depth. Okay. For whatever we are doing, Snowpark you can easily do. For if you want to go advanced any certification, you need to put more efforts, because they'll be charging more for that certification, and the level of questions will be more. If you have worked in real time, it will be very easy. Since you are learning and you are writing right, you might face some issues. But for Snowpark core, it is just like whatever the how Snowflake work, it will be information about that.
Actually, I am working in Snowflake about around 2.5 years.
Then you can easily write even advanced.
Okay.
Because in advanced, they will give you scenario based question. Okay. If you have the scenario, what kind of services you are going to do, what you are doing. Whereas in Snowpark core, it will be not that. It will be straightforward questions with multiple points.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Apart from project, do we get assignments every week or once
Yep.
we complete?
Now, since now just we started, that's the reason there are no project. But once we start coding and all, right, after every topics, whenever important topics are there, we'll be giving assignments. You need to do that assignments, and we'll be tracking that assignments also in our website. Okay. So you need to once you complete that, you need to submit that assignments in our website. We'll be tracking that also.
Okay.
So what are the softwares we need to install in our personal laptop for this
Only
course?
MySQL, and when we'll be doing Python, Jupyter Notebook or VS Code. Only these two are required. Apart from that, everything will be done in cloud.
Okay, means AWS account we will be using.
Yeah, AWS account will guide how to create a AWS account. It's a 1 year free. So once you create, it will be also in cloud. So you just need to open a browser and you need to log in and you need to work.
Okay, so apart from that, for Snowflake, any other way to use?
No, even Snowflake will be doing in cloud. Everything is cloud. Only since you need to MySQL, you will be practicing. You can do that also in. There will be some like interface given by some companies. You can just browse in Google. You can get those and you can practice there also. But if you don't want to install, but if you want to install and practice, you need to install the MySQL and you need to practice that.
Okay, MySQL and other?
Jupyter Notebook or VS Code. If you don't want to install Python, you can. There is a Google Colab, something called as Google Colab, where you can write a Python code. You can practice that also on Google Chrome.
Okay. What is the difference between this Snowflake data engineer and other data engineer like GCP or something we have in market? Which one has more opportunities?
This we detailedly explain in the last class also. You can go through and see those videos also. But for your explanation, see, in current market situation, there are three clouds, okay, that have wide range of opportunity. One is as a AWS, another is Azure, third is GCP. Now AWS has a more number of job opportunities. I'm saying not as a which is dominating in the market. Okay, as when compared to job openings, there are around 45 to 50% on AWS, whereas on 40% on Azure, and we are only 10% on GCP. Okay. Now, since the Snowflake is having very good hand to hand with AWS and other tools, it is dominating in the market, and it's there from 2014. Okay, it's the first tool which had come on a cloud-based data warehouse. Now it has added more. It is more than cloud-based data warehouse. Now adding more and more features. That's the why it's very easy to use also. That's the why companies are moving to Snowflake. Okay, these are the opportunity here. So now once you learn Snowflake with AWS, you have at least with the equal number of opportunity what you have Azure. More than that you have with AWS, because a lot of companies are using more AWS when compared to Azure. Okay, to answer your question.
Okay, means like a normal data engineer, they work on BigQuery and some other transformations they require. So in Snowflake, it is handled by Snowflake. Is it like that?
Yep. So you can go through the last recording. We have discussed each and everything. So you can see in your YouTube also. So we discussed the same thing for 10 to 15 minutes. You can go and understand more, but this whatever understanding you have, that's correct.
Okay.
Okay, guys. If no other doubts, can we end the class? Okay. See you tomorrow then. Okay. Bye. Thank you.